am going to make a mouth with dots like normally what we use in a snowman, like rocks or whatever we find to create a mouth. I am going to use ellipse tool to create a little ellipse dot that I'm going to fill with black. I'm just dragging the black out of the stroke and putting it into the fill. It doesn't matter if there's a stroke on this or not. This is going to become my scatter brush. A scatter brush is different than a pattern brush. A scatter brush would have been useful to make snow in the background. That's actually a pattern swatch with object pattern make. This is going to be a scatter brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that over to my swatches panel. Wow, what is going on here? Let it go. We're supposed to sing that song about the snowman, right? Okay. Trying to drop it into my brushes panel. Rip the brushes panel off of there. Drag that in. Am I on a locked layer? What the heck is going on? Okay, there we go. If all else fails, fight with the software. This is my new brush panel. My first choice by default is scatter brush. That is what I'm going to make. Scatter brush, I'm going to call this dot mouth. And unless I already have this thing set up, it's hard for me to see what it's going to do. I'm going to leave the size at fixed. I don't know, maybe reduce it down a little bit. Spacing, I'm probably going to wind up changing that. Scatter, I'm going to leave it fixed. And rotation, it doesn't matter. It's round. I'm going to click OK. Once I do that, I'm going to deselect by clicking somewhere else and grab my pen tool and just make a line where I want the snowman's mouth to be. I can always adjust it later. Looks like yikes. Okay. Don't want it to have a fill, so I'm going to click the fill chip and then click the nothing. I don't want it to just have a black stroke. I want it to have that scatter brush thing. So if I click this, that's what I'm going to get. Except I'm not happy with that because there's no spacing between them. It looks like a bunch of kukui beads, or however you pronounce that. If I double click on that brush I just made in the brushes panel, while this is still selected, make sure preview is checked down at the bottom. Change the spacing, fixed. I don't know, bump that up. Wow, it's too much. Probably only needs to be, yeah, that looks okay. So like you play with the sliders until it looks okay. If you're happy with it and spacing looks the way you want, click OK. That works better than a pattern brush because you don't have to put any little buffer space around it. Also, when this thing pops up, apply to strokes because you want that effect. Then if you need to, you can go in here with your direct select tool and adjust your line to make the snowman's smile look more like what you want it to look like.